Hey Legacy Builders, welcome back to Mind Your Money. It's time to see where my money went. So I'll be tracking expenses. In this video, I'm tracking from the 12th to the 18th of January. So feel free to track your expenses for the last week or the current day, and hopefully we can be productive together. On the 11th of January, it was a no spend day, and we ended with $39.44. On the 13th, Fidelity took out $35, and that brought us down to a cushion balance of $4.44. And then on the 14th, we had some income come in of $500. That brought us up to $504.44. I'm trying to make sure I condense what I'm tracking so that I don't run out of space, because I don't have any more expense trackers after this. So we're going to talk about the 15th. My son got a transfer to his savings of $1. And then we had a few transfers to the bills account to pay Spectrum, which was $90, to pay my Visa, which was $78. But when I went online to pay it, they only asked for $53. So I transferred to the bill account $78 and then back into the operating account $25 to cover what we didn't need to pay. I went grocery shopping on the 15th, and I spent $56.89. And so this is the receipt. I bought some bagels, some cream cheese, some 2% milk. I bought peppermint coffee creamer. I bought cereal, cornbread mix, Enfamil formula for my baby girl. I bought a meatloaf mix, and I bought some sweet potatoes. So that's what lasted us 2 days. Over the weekend and through Monday. And happy MLK Day. You probably gonna see this way after that. But anyway, moving on. I took $60 in cash out from the bank, and that was for cash savings. I do cash stuffings on Tasha's money and stuff. I have some very specific and very intentional goals, so that money is mostly going towards savings so that we can make sure we hit our first 90 days worth of goals. I had some transactions on the 16th, and I had some on the 17th, but mostly it was just my payday routine. So we had another portion of our income hit the account on the 16th for $500. And then I transferred $25 to our bill account so that we could pay towards our credit card. That left us with a balance of $718.55. The additional money movements that happened, you probably would have seen if you saw my paycheck budget closeout. And so I'll try to remember to link it above so you can go ahead and see what happened there. With the groceries, I'm happy to say that we were under budget for that week, and it really did help so we could keep a little bit more money in our cushion. So I always transfer $10 automatically to 4 purpose funds. The main ones that we need to fund are transportation, clothing, wellness, and food. And so I just, again, condensed it so I have enough space to write in everything that happened so I can stay on top of the money. So 4 purpose funds got $40, and those are savings. That brought our balance down to $678 with 55 cents. I like to track everything that comes out of this operating account as well, so I can make sure we're still hitting our savings goals. Now, we automatically have money sent to our household account, and that gets $5 every week transferred, and that's considered a savings because it's not money we will spend immediately. So even though it's a purpose fund, it's short-term savings. So we're going to keep tracking everything that came out so I can make sure. And I'm checking my spreadsheet on the side so I can make sure everything that was supposed to move did move. We have money sent to our next month's bills account, and that's basically just a high yield savings where we're trying to save slowly but surely money for future bills, basically getting 1 month ahead. So that's $672.55 is the balance. We also send $1 each week to our annual bills fund, and that again is so that we can pay all of our annual bills. We have just 3 right now. We have registration for the car, We have Microsoft, and then we also have Amazon Prime. We did have Netflix and we had Hulu, but we canceled those. And they would normally hit our credit card, but since we're paying off the last two credit cards that we have, we're not using a credit card right now. We're just using strictly cash, our debit card. And then my second son got $1 transferred to his savings account, and that happens every single Friday. So that brought our balance down to $670 with 55 cents. And then we manually transfer a fourth of the mortgage each week to the mortgage savings account, and that was $475. Now we're putting more aside than we need, but it's just so that we can have a bit of a cushion there and we can prep ourselves for an actual mortgage. So that left us with $195 and 55 cents as a balance. And then our family savings also gets $1 each week automatically. I think setting up, automating your savings is a game changer for your budget. And it's almost like it forces you to say, okay, this money is untouchable. It always has to go to these specific places. And everything else after that we can use to pay bills or, try and hit other goals. And so our tithe, which is set apart and holy because it's our foundational principle, it's our faith is built into this. We sent $100 over to be given. And so we separate that into a separate checking account because we don't want it commingled with other things where we could spend it on groceries or, doing other things other than giving. And then I am doing what's called the Save 200 challenge. It's available in this in this simple budget workbook that I'm using. So I Zelled $50 to another institution that houses a part of our emergency fund. And that was, that brought us down to $44.55. And now I did have some other expenses that I did not log here. On the 12th, I purchased some groceries for $22.96. This money did not come from our budget. It was money that we saved in one of our purpose funds, and I literally transferred the amount of money I needed for these purchases on the day, like right while I was at the self-checkout. So we purchased some household items, and since I do use the self-checkout, I just separated the transaction so I knew exactly how much I needed to transfer into the operating account. So those two receipts reflect what I bought, but again, it didn't come from this budget, so I didn't even log it in. So the third week of the month basically is the 12th, right? And so going into week 4, we have $44.55 left over. The only one expense that I do expect to come out in the beginning of week 4 is the $35 going to my Roth IRA. And so that would leave us with an actual cushion balance of $9.55, which isn't too bad going into the last week. So I was inspired again by Tracy over at the Financial Freedom Diary. I am still subscribed to her channel. She has not posted in over a year, but I, reflected back on some of her previous videos where she would do a weekly check-in, and she's strictly cash. So she would try, basically check in to see how she spent in household and other categories, and then she would track it. So I'm doing the same thing, even though I don't use, these categories are not in cash. They are strictly what's in my account. But we budgeted $62 for food and we spent $56.89. So I'm happy to report for 2 weeks in a row we were under budget. Week 1 was a bit hectic, but I started to be more intentional about what we're buying. Again, we are a family of 6. My teenager is currently with his father, so he is not at home with us, and we do have an infant. So the most important things that we need, we buy, and not every week, not everybody gets the exact snack or the exact sweet treat that they would like, but everybody is fed and everybody is cared for. We're in a bit of a tight season, but it's not going to last forever. Thankfully, we were under budget by $5.11, and this was also intentionality. And I did share with you already that we did spend money from our food fund and from our household account, and it didn't come from this budget because it was money we had previously saved. So you can see that I'm trying everything I can to make sure that one, all of us are fed and well taken care of, and two, if we need to use the money that we had previously saved, we will use it so that we don't go over budget. So all in all, I didn't spend anything out of gas from this budget. I didn't spend anything out of household from this budget. So we still have a positive $45.11. And I think that's great. Of course, that money gets reallocated to other things like paying down debt, like putting money towards the emergency fund, and also, if needed, putting a few extra dollars in cash in our wallet just in case, you know, things come up. So I just wanted to kind of separate week 3. So I just used my little highlighter to show that this is week 3. We had less money spent and we're in the positive, so I'm so grateful for that. The Save 200 challenge, which is, you can see here in this book, this is what I'm working on. We have to have an emergency fund. You have to have something to fall back on if life happens. We're not using a credit card right now. We don't want to rely on the credit card as an emergency fund because it puts us in a very difficult place. And so I've had experience as a good teacher. So I know that if we don't have an emergency fund, if we don't have money to use in the event of, a life happening, then we put ourselves at risk for falling deeper into debt. And I don't want to do that. So that's everything for this week. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Remember to mind your money, manage it well, and live your lives abundantly. Bye for now.